Echoes of the Abandoned Theater by Juwan Walker. On a sunny afternoon in a quiet suburban neighborhood where white picket fences and neatly trimmed lawns were the norm, a group of adventurous kids decided to shake things up with a game of hide-and-seek in a local park. As the sun shone above and laughter echoed through the trees, Timmy, Sarah, Jake, and Emily stumbled upon something unexpected, a rundown movie theater hidden behind a tangle of wild bushes and overgrown vines. The theater loomed like a ghost from the past, its once vibrant colors faded with paint peeling off in large patches to reveal the worn wood beneath. Curiosity bubbled up within the group. How could they resist exploring such a mysterious place? As they stepped inside, the door creaked on its rusted hinges, sending chills down their spines despite the warm sunshine outside. Dust particles floated in the beams of light that pierced the darkness, illuminating old, rickety chairs covered in layers of cobwebs. A massive tattered screen hung at the front, its surface marked with dirt, a silent testament to the films that had once played there. In the corner stood an ancient film projector, covered in dust and accompanied by a box of fragile film reels. The titles of the movies begin The Monster in the Shadows, The Creepy Clown, and Evil Spirit's Revenge, made their hearts race with a mix of fear and excitement. Eager to see more, they gathered around the projector like moths to a flame. "Let's watch the first one," Jake exclaimed, his eyes wide with anticipation. They quickly set up the old machine, its gears creaking to life as they threaded the film and pressed play. The dim light flickered, casting eerie shadows across the room while the screen transformed into a scene of monstrous creatures stalking through the dark. Suddenly, the theater lights flickered and a loud crash echoed through the room. The kids realized their hearts racing. When they turned to escape, they froze in fear as they realized the monster was no longer just on the screen, it towered behind them. A terrifying figure with hulky limbs and glowing eyes. Panicking, the children sprinted to the exit, monsters, growls, and laughter echoing in their ears. They dodged between the rows of abandoned chairs, desperate to find a way out. Timmy stumbled and felt the hot breath of the creature on his neck. He scrambled to his feet just in time, and the group boarded out the theater into the sunlight, panting heavily but realizing their escape was only half complete. Ghastly figures from the other films emerged behind the creepy clowns, shadow specters, and sinister apparitions swirled in a chaotic confusion. The innocent game of hide-and-seek had turned into a nightmare. Shaken, the friends huddled together, fear gripping their hearts. "We need to get back in the movies," Timmy shouted, determination in his voice. But their courage faltered as Sarah stammered. "But how?" Suddenly, Jake remembered an old legend about monsters that said they could be sent back by confronting their fears. "What if we talk to them?" he suggested. "Maybe they just want to be seen." Though nervous, Emily's voice broke through the panic. "We have to try." Summoning their courage, the kids crept back into the theater, hearts pounding. The sight before them was surreal. The monsters were tumbling around, juggling weapons and causing chaos. Despite their fear, they focused and stepped forward, shouting in unison, "Stop, you need to return to your movies." The monsters paused, their distorted and frightening features confusingly twisted. Encouraged by the silence, Timmy boldly continued, "If you promise to leave us alone and go back into the films, we will watch your movie again. But on one condition, you had to behave." To their surprise, the monsters nodded in agreement, sensing an unusual connection in the tense atmosphere. With uneasiness, the kids restarted the projector. The familiar flicker of light capturing the creature's attention, the film began to play, and the monsters gradually settled down. Hypnotized by their own endings on the screen, one by one they shimmered and faded before the children's eyes, returning to the film as their laughter echoed until it faded in silence. Once the projector stopped wiring, the theater returned to its eerie abandoned state. The air grew still and the flickering shadows vanished, leaving only dust in their wake. Relief washed over the children. They had survived the chaos and restored peace. As the kids have celebrations in the air and feel the effect of relief, they walk away applauding each other. Once the projector started wiring, the theater returned to its eerie abandoned state. The air grew still and the flickered shadows vanished, leaving only dust in their wake. Relief washed over the children. They had survived the chaos and restored peace. With celebrating laughter echoing in the dim light, they began to applaud each other for their bravery. But just as the chatter filled the air, Emily suddenly froze. A slow, winding sound pierced through the air, echoing the chilling hum of the projector from earlier. The noise grew louder, faster, pulling the entire group into a silence. Fear twisted their expressions as they exchanged nervous glances, their earlier relief replaced by anxiety. Then, without warning, the projector sprang back to life, casting a blind, blank white screen before them. The light pulsed like a heartbeat. Just as quickly, the projector snapped off again, shrouding the theater in darkness. "What was that?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. "We need to get out of here," Jake urged, urgency lacing his voice. Realizing they had lingered too long, Panic surged through the group. They bolted towards the exit, their footsteps echoing in the hollow room. One by one, they pushed through the door, the sensation of safety drawing closer with each step. Emily was the first to burst through, followed quickly by Jake. But just as he stepped outside, the door slammed shut behind him with an unnerving thump, trapping Sarah and Timmy within the teacher's grasp. "What? No, let us out," Timmy shouted, pounding on the door. It felt like the walls were closing in, a feeling of claustrophobia overwhelming them. Emily and Jake pressed against the door, desperation mixed with fear. "Sarah, Timmy, are you okay?" Emily called, her heart racing. A faint rhythmic sound began pulsating behind the door, a tick, 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 like a clock counting down. The children outside exchanged worried glances, sensing the urgency rising. "Something's wrong," Jake said, backing away. Timmy's voice trembled from the other side. "Get us out, it's coming, please." Emily's heart raced as she gripped the handle, but it wouldn't budge. In a moment, the projecting screen flickered back to life, illuminating the dark interior of the theater with eerie images from the earlier chaos. A reminder of what had just occurred. A soft whisper crept through the cracks of the door, chilling him to the bone. "You shouldn't have stayed."